Hi, folks. This is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report, and I'm here with Russ Eddy. And Rust, here's what I want to ask you, or for you to tell people, because I think there's an awful lot of people out there that might be listening to the radio that aren't into all the fishing that we do. And so I wanted you to explain how you got into fishing, because I know you didn't fish as a little kid, did you?
I didn't. I grew up in Buffalo, and I was a city boy, and my folks were not outdoorsy, and anytime they took me outdoors, it did not sit well with me. I was not comfortable as an outdoor kid. So it was my wife and I, when I met my soon-to-be wife in college, one of the things we did, it was in Oklahoma, and one of the things we did, she wanted to go fishing, and I thought, okay, let's go fishing. And we went to a flea market and bought some of the cheapest Zebco 33 rod and reels that you could find, and we'd get a thing of worms and drive up and down the roads of Oklahoma, and whenever we'd see a piece of water, we'd put our lawn chairs beside it and go fishing. And it quickly became a very peaceful, relaxing thing that we shared together, and I recognized how much fun it was and what I missed, really, all my childhood. But I've taken advantage of the opportunity that she introduced to me, and gone from there.
You and Cheryl used to camp along waterways, and you didn't even know what was in the rivers or ponds, or did you?
Oh gosh, no, we didn't, but we'd fish anyway. One time we caught, I mean, this is too long of a story to tell now, but one time we caught Cheryl caught, we weren't catching anything, so I went and laid down in a tent to take a nap in the middle of the afternoon. Then all of a sudden I heard her screaming, and I ran to the side of the river, and then she's got this fish on the end of her line that I swear, it's a 25, 30-inch fish. It's huge. And at that point, the biggest thing we caught was a little bluegill. And we didn't know what it was, but the camp host came along in his four-wheeler and looked down and said, "That's a red horse." So we cooked up that red horse over the campfire, and that campfire the smell wafted all evening long, and we had bears visit us that night. I've told you this story before.
I know.
Everything changed after that. We caught fish. That was the night that changed our karma, and we started catching fish after that like you wouldn't believe. So,
well, growing up in Buffalo like you did, when Cheryl got her position at SUNY Potsdam is a professor, and you moved here for that reason. Did you have any idea that the fishing would be as wonderful as it is up here?
I had no idea, and I had done enough research to know. And when we made that move, I was absolutely a dedicated fly fisherman. I did fish a little bit in other ways, but 99% of my fishing was fly fishing. So I researched where we were headed, Potsdam, Canton area, and I learned about the Adirondacks and the trout fishing and the fly fishing. So I had some idea of that. I had no idea about any of the rest of it. And it turns out, when we landed in Canton, one of the first person that walked up on us to welcome us to town was Wild Bill Losey, and that was an event in and of itself. Meeting him, and he took us in. He welcomed us like we were family. And the next thing I knew, I was in his gee-canoe on the Grass River hunting muskies, and I'll never forget that very first one that I caught. And
that really changed your life too.
Oh, it changed my life.
Meeting Wild Bill.
That'll change anybody's life. God bless him and rest his soul. He was a character, and he came up and on that first meeting, he totally invaded my personal space. Got his face right up next to mine. A little bit of spittle was flowing, and he said, he sees my canoe. He says, "Do you fish?" I said, "Yeah, I fish." And he says, do you drink? And I said, well, I don't. He says, what do you drink, wine or beer? I said, well, I don't, a little of both, I guess. And he says, do you hunt? And I said, no, I don't hunt. And he says, it sucks to be you. But the thing is, I knew immediately, I could see it immediately. The life and the love and the light that he emanated, and it was authentic. And he was rough around the edges, but he was absolutely authentically full of love, and I could tell it immediately. So if you could just, I didn't need to. The rough edges didn't bother me. They did some folks out there, but not me. I could see it. And he became a beloved friend and took me muskie fishing and taught me how to do it. And then I took off from there, and I did it by myself. I spent hours and hours in my canoe on the Grass River and other spots, just learning, studying it. I remember studying fly fishing, not practicing it, studying it. And I studied muskie fishing in the same way, and I got where I could connect with those fish on levels I never thought I would.
That's really interesting, and I guess you could say that muskie fishing is sort of your mantra now, isn't it? Or maybe a poor choice of words, but
look, I love it. I would say in the last couple of years, I've broadened my horizons a little bit. I think with your help, introducing me to bass fishing with worms, of all plastic worms, of all things. I've expanded my fly fishing towards other species, towards pike and bass. But I love muskie fishing. I love it all. But yeah, I've spent enough time muskie fishing to where it's infused as a part of me, and it's changed my life, and I do love it. And there's nothing like catching a big muskie on a little river, on a small, remote little river where you wouldn't expect any giant river monster to be lurking, and the way they attack, it's amazing.
Well, that was amazing. In your retelling of a person that has meant an awful lot in both of our lives, Wild Bill Losey. But that's part of what fishing and being in the outdoors, I think, brings to a person's life. They bring them new friendships and new ways to enjoy living. But I appreciate you being with us this week, Rust. Until next time, folks, this is Don and Rust with the North Country Fishing Report.